Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
We are back at the ballpark. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is presented by Sanderson Ford. D-backs looking for a split of this 4-game series with the division-leading Braves before we're off to Colorado. Right now, Diamondbacks only 2.5 games off the division lead. It's the D-backs and the Braves on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Renly along the way. Diamondbacks and Braves here looking for a win before it's off to Denver to play the Rockies. An interesting pitching matchup here this afternoon. Robbie Ray goes for the Diamondbacks. Bob, he has looked to be very much a different pitcher in his last 2 starts.
He really has, and we heard Mike Hazen talking to Todd Walsh and Gracie about some mechanical changes that Robbie has made, but for me the bigger change is his mentality. He is definitely in attack mode over his last 2 starts. Perfect 2-0 record. He beat the Dodgers, he beat the Padres, and did it in very convincing fashion.
It's been very encouraging, certainly. He's up against a one-time D-backs draftee, Touki Toussaint, who just is making his 3rd major league start today.
Yeah, first one was very good against the Miami Marlins. He won that game, went 6 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits, got banged around a little bit by the Red Sox last time out. This should be a lot of fun. The youngster's got a big arm.
Let's get a win and get a split before it's off to Denver. D-backs and Braves on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse. Visit bjsrestaurants.com to find a location near you. By Tire Pros of Arizona. Everything rotates around you. By the NASCAR Can-Am 500 at ISM Raceway, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money.
you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing. Choose Chaz. By One AZ Credit Union, let's bank together. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The Card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the Card today. D-backs taking the field on this beautiful Sunday in downtown Phoenix. The finale of a 4-game set with the Atlanta Braves. Robbie Ray and Touki Toussaint are pitching matchup today. We are just about set to go, but first, let's introduce the voice of Chase Field, Mr. Chuck Drago.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Atlanta Braves invite you to join in the singing the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by the Centennial High School Band, under the direction of Mrs. Kate Manasco.
Outstanding job, Centennial High School's marching band playing our national anthem. It's D-backs baseball brought to you by Sanderson Ford. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson with you. Oscar Soria and Rodrigo Lopez in our Spanish language broadcast. You'll find that on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. D-backs looking to get it going again. They've lost 10 of 15. Their division deficit in the NL West is 2.5 games and only 20 to play. They are 2 back of a wild card spot. Today they face the NL East leading Atlanta Braves, who come in 14 over 500, 3.5 up on the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's the batting order for Brian Stichter's ball club today, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Well, if it looks familiar, it's because it is. Ronald Acuna Jr. once again leading it off out in left field. Johan Camargo at third base. Freddie Freeman will be across the diamond at first. Nick Markakis out in right field. Tyler Flowers doing the catching today. Ozzie Albies will be at second base. Ender Inciarte, the former D-back, out in center field. Dansby Swanson will be at shortstop, and Touki Toussaint, the right-hander, on the mound.
And for the Diamondbacks, it's left-hander Robbie Ray, your Ram Truck starting pitcher. Robbie has continued to impress. Wins in his last 2 starts, beating the Dodgers and the Padres.
Pitch count still somewhat of an issue for Robbie. That's forced Torrey to pull the plug on his last couple of starts a little bit earlier than you would like to see. But boy, you cannot argue with the results. His last 2 starts, he has been dominating.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around at the Diamondbacks defense.
John Jay sliding over to left field for this afternoon's game. A.J. Pollock will be out in center. Steven Souza Jr. in right field. It'll be Escobar and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Descalso and Goldie on the right side. Alex Avila behind the plate this afternoon for lefty Robbie Ray.
Marty Foster behind the plate for the umpires, calling the balls and strikes for us today. Mark Ripperger at first base. Doug Eddings is at second. And there's the Cowboy, the crew chief, Joe West at third. Time, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Boy, after what, in my humble opinion, was one of the sloppiest games of the year, a little bit more attention to detail. Make the plays, focus until the play is over, grind out those at bats. All the little things that the Diamondbacks do so well when they're winning ball games.
Everything that could possibly happen in a game happened last night. It was amazing. It just didn't end all that well. So looking for a split of this 4-game set. Ronald Acuna Jr. takes ball 1. We're underway. 290 and 24 homers. These have been long games. 4 hours 11 minutes Thursday. 3:48 Friday. 4:07 last night. And it's been an adventurous series, to say the least. And skipper Troy Lovullo in pretty good mood. He was watching his fantasy football team this morning. He was excited about having Todd Gurley, Rams running back. Our director Brian Moss also has him. I'm not sure why that's relevant, but Brian wanted us to point that out. Stay hot. Well, put up the graphic and we'll call off the war. Acuna, the 2-1. There's a strike with a fastball. Acuna 2 hits in each of the last 2 games. He's got 4 hits in the series. He's doubled twice. He's walked 3 times. Doing a good job in the leadoff spot. Johan Camargo, who's had a big series himself, is on deck. Did he check? No, he did not. Ring him up and sit him down. Robbie gets the strikeout with a slider.
I have a feeling we're going to hear that phrase several times this afternoon. He struck him out with a slider. Just a check swing that time. Acuna Jr. checking down to the first base umpire Mark Rippiger, but didn't get the answer he was looking for.
The third baseman, the wide-eyed Johan Camargo. 279. He's got 17 home runs. He's homered twice in the series. Fastball's a strike. Robbie, the big difference that we've seen is visibly obvious. Just more presence, more command, more confident out there. Just the way he not only carries himself physically, but also attacks with that fastball. He wasn't doing that earlier this year. Tried to backdoor the curveball and missed 1-1. Just looks like a different guy out there.
Completely different guy. And I think that happens to any athlete. When you feel healthy and you're on top of your game and things are falling into place, and for a pitcher your release point is good, your mechanics feel good, you're content with your sequence of pitches against certain hitters, yeah, you pitch with a lot more confidence, a lot more conviction in each pitch.
Well, he doubled up on that curveball away. That one got in there, said Marty Foster. 1-2. Alex Avila behind the plate today. Might be another one right here. There's that slider. Well, this is how it started for Robbie Ray against the Padres last week. He struck out the first 4 batters he faced. Brings up Freddie Freeman. This will be a difficult matchup. Freeman at 305, 21 home runs. Diamondbacks put the shift on against him. Statcast AI powered by AWS. Descalso, the second baseman, back on the outfield grass. Ahmed, the shortstop, of the first base side of second. Boy, he hung a curveball and Freeman missed it. He usually kills those pitches. He's a pretty good hitter against left-hand breaking balls for a left-hand batter. Robbie's going to have to be careful. Got away with one right there. And to the fastball, down and away, jumps ahead 0-2. Can he strike out the side in the first for the second consecutive start? Hard to first. Goldie's got it. Good start for Robbie Ray. Diamondbacks coming up. Pitcher for Atlanta, the right-hander Touki Toussaint, just 22 years old. The D-backs first-round pick in the 2014 draft. A year later, he was dealt to the Braves. And so today facing the team that originally drafted him in just his third major league start.
Throws a couple of different fastballs, a four-seamer and a two-seamer. Both sit in the low to mid-90s. Has a good curveball that he uses against right-handed hitters. A really good split he uses against the lefties.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Diamondback lineup.
John Jay leading it off out in left field. Eduardo Escobar at third base. Paul Goldschmidt at first. A.J. Pollock out in center field. Daniel Descalso getting the start at second base. Steven Souza Jr. out in right field. Nick Ahmed at short. Alex Avila catching. And big game Bob Robbie Ray on the mound.
John Jay in left field. The day off for David Peralta today. And the fastball misses away. Jay 273. He's got 3 home runs. Torrey over the course of this series has given several guys one extra little off day going into Colorado. That big 4-game set against the Rockies that starts tomorrow. So today is Peralta's day. Right now, by the way, the Rockies are trailing the Dodgers. LA has a 4-1 lead. They're in the third at Coors Field. And Ketel Marte sitting this one out as well. Jay had 3 balls and no strikes. John Jay has singled and walked in the series. He grounded out as a pinch hitter last night. And Eduardo Escobar on deck. Then it's Goldie. Good start. He walks the leadoff man. Atlanta's defense right now, that's provided by E.D. Marshall-Jr.
Ronald Acuna Jr. in left field. Ender Inciarte patrolling in center. Nick Markakis over in right field to be Johan Camargo at third base. Dansby Swanson at short. Ozzie Albies at second base. Veteran Freddie Freeman at first. Tyler Flowers doing the catching today. And right-hander Touki Toussaint on the mound.
Eduardo Escobar back at third. Hitting .270, 20 home runs. Braves have the shift on against the switcher, batting from the left-hand side. Fastball misses. Escobar's bat has been quiet. They need him to get it going. He is 1 for 13 in the series. There's a look at the Atlanta defense. Freeman holding Jay on the bag at first. Good fastball from Touki, 1-1. Touki Toussaint, he's got that 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastball with life. He can sink it as well. But the signature pitch is a big curveball, which he throws a lot. And they think could be a plus pitch for him at the big league level. And there's that splitter that Bob was talking about. It's kind of a split change. That's been generating a lot of swings and misses lately. But he walked the leadoff man. Now he's behind on Escobar, 2-1. This is drilled deep to right field. Markakis is there. And it's allowed out number 1. Well, how many times can Diamondback hitters hit one right on the button in this series and right at a Braves defender? It happened, it seemed, every other inning last night.
That's all you can do as a hitter. It's frustrating as heck for fans. Can you imagine how frustrating it is for the hitters when you get a good pitch, put a good swing on it, square it up, and hit it right at one of the defenders?
Goldie has dipped just below 300, down 298, 33 home runs. That OPS is the best in the National League. OPS is on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Fastball is right at the knees for a strike. Touki Toussaint, only 22 years old, just to turn 22 actually, back earlier this summer. Only his third big league start. Not sure if it's coincidence or irony that it comes against the Diamondbacks, the team that drafted him 4 years ago. That was that curveball. 1-1 now.
Yeah, Toussaint has a little bit of an unusual setup out of the stretch position. The front shoulder is much higher than the back shoulder.
Yeah, look at that.
I'd like to see him see John Jay draw a throw over there to first base just to see if there's something you can read there with that odd shoulder angle that he's featuring.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
No.
That back shoulder dips way down and the front shoulder comes way up. It's like a half a shrug. Here it is. Yes, he went. There's that splitter, got it way inside. Mark Ripperger rings him up. First strikeout for Tucson.
I mentioned splitter is a pitch he usually uses against left-handed hitters and throws the big breaking ball more against the righties, but that time Goldie kind of got locked up with a splitter.
AJ in the cleanup spot today. Jay still at first, 2 outs. Pollock at 260 with 16 home runs. First, Jay was way off the bag. Got lucky. The throw was in the dirt from Tyler Flowers.
Well, that's one of the dangers of reading the trajectory of pitches. You see that ball headed for the dirt, and good base runners, their natural instinct is to take another step or two toward that next base, and that time John Jay very nearly got picked off. Now, the good base runners, good base stealers, they read the trajectory of the pitch, and many times they'll be running as soon as they see that ball headed for the dirt.
And splitter acts as a changeup. That's a swing and a miss. He's had a lot of those with that pitch lately. 1-1. That pitch along with the curveball have impressed. Missed with a fastball, 2 balls and a strike. AJ has singled twice and walked 4 times in the series. He's knocked in a couple of runs. He was on base all night last night. 2 walks, an RBI single. There's that swing and miss curveball. 2-2. He will throw that about 30% of the time. At least he has in his first 2 starts anyway. Descalso would be next. A little more velocity on the splitter that time, and it's full 3-2. This will get Pollock or Jay started from first. Although Freeman will continue to hold him on the bag down there. Jay takes off. AJ a check swing roller. Swanson backhands and charges and makes a nice play to get him. Tucson strands the leadoff walk. No score. D-backs and the Braves. To you by T-Mobile. D-backs trailing the Cardinals for that second National League wild card. No help from the Tigers today as St. Louis wins in Detroit 5-2. As far as the Rockies and the Dodgers, here's Kike Hernandez off Tyler Anderson. LA has a 4-1 lead at Coors Field. They're in the fourth inning. So a Rockies loss and a D-back win today will pull Arizona back within a game and a half of the NL West lead.
Hot sunny day at Coors. Buckle up.
I'm sure that lead will hold up just fine. Might be 15-10 by the time they finish. Markakis lines out to Jay and left to start off the second. Well, 4 up, 4 down for Robbie. Here's the catcher, Tyler Flowers. Flowers back behind the plate. 232, 6 homers. We've seen both he and Kurt Suzuki in this series. Rather have Flowers in there. Suzuki has homered twice. First pitch fastball right there, 0-1. Tyler Flowers has singled twice and struck out twice in the series. That's a pretty good seat right there. Safely behind that netting. 0-2. Good curveball. Robbie's thrown some good curveballs so far. Keeping that pitch down and away to some of these righties. Ozzie Albies on deck. Only 15 pitches so far for Robbie Ray. 12 strikes. Slider just missed. Flowers lays off. 1-2.
The last couple starts for Robbie, such a difference from what we saw in maybe the 5 or 6 starts before that, when it just seemed like he couldn't command his fastball consistently, kept missing up and away from right-handed hitters. Didn't have a consistently great release point on the slider. At days it was very good, other days not so good. But man, the last 2 starts, it's like he knows exactly where that ball's going when it leaves his hand.
Yes, it was very much the opposite for much of the summer. There's the pitching coach, Mike Butcher. 2-2 on the Braves catcher, Tyler Flowers. Curveball, he left it up. Flowers a swing and a miss. That's 3 strikeouts and 5 batters for Robbie Ray.
Yeah, probably not the location he wanted for that curveball, but gets the desired result. A hanging breaking ball will get a lot of swings, and that time Tyler Flowers couldn't even make contact.
Another good-looking young player for the Braves, the second baseman, Ozzie Albies, only 21 years old, 269, 22 home runs. Diamondbacks have 3 defenders on the left side of the infield. Joe's bunt pulls back on that fastball. Ball 1. Albies has been quiet, just 2 for 14 in the series with a pair of singles. He was hitless in last night's game. There's a look at the defense. Well, Tapper Escobar will come in from third. 6 up, 6 down for Robbie Ray. No score at Chase Field.
Daniel Descalzo at the plate. I had the chance to talk to former Diamondback Touki Toussaint, the other day. He didn't spend much time with the organization, but he was reliving the night, and it was his 19th birthday when he got the call, or I should say his roommate, Brad Keller, got the call because Touki didn't have his phone, that he was traded, and he was shocked. But the native of South Florida, he went out and told his family at that time, and they were excited. Of course, Atlanta geographically closer to South Florida, but no question, Touki, a bright future with Atlanta. He told me he learned a lot from his very solid start with the Marlins, but even more from facing a team like the Boston Red Sox, guys.
Yeah, those have been his 2 starts so far, Jody, at the big league level. Descalzo gets it started. Yeah, Touki was the D-backs' first-round pick in 2014. The 16th overall selection in that draft. There's a slow roller to second for Albies. And only a year after he'd been drafted, as Jody mentioned, he was traded to the Braves in a move by the D-backs' previous front office to create some payroll flexibility. And he just made his major league debut with Atlanta last month. Here he is.
You mentioned that start against the Red Sox that came down in Atlanta. Went 4 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball, but then the wheels spun off rather quickly. He only went another third of an inning, ended up giving up 3 runs on 4 hits and walked a couple of Red Sox hitters.
Steven Souza Jr. Yeah, he won his major league debut middle of August. Pitched very well, beat the Marlins. Big difference, Red Sox lineup, Marlins lineup, but still a win is a win. And he pitched very well. 6 innings, gave up just 1 run, 2 hits, and Atlanta won that one 9-1. He went back to the minors after that start for just a little bit, got recalled with September roster expansion, and then lost his start against the Red Sox. That was last Monday. And today is start number 3. There's that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-2. Oh, just dropped that curveball in there for his second strikeout. That is the big hammer that he's got. Yeah, that curveball has looked good at this level so far.
That's a knee knocker. Curveball that starts up and in. You kind of freeze momentarily thinking it might be a fastball up and in, and then it takes that break and drops right down in the middle of the zone.
Shortstop Nick Ahmed. Nick hitting .247, 16 home runs. He's had a very good series. He gets his first look at Touki Toussaint. Another curveball, missed that time. It's funny, Toussaint in his first 2 seasons in the Braves organization did not exactly impress. His stock was actually dropping. He was trending down. Looked like he might not make it for a while. Last season he was pitching an A-ball in the Florida State League and had a .504 ERA. There's that split changeup. That was in 19 starts, so it was not a small sample size. But this year did all right with AA Mississippi in the Southern League. Got 8 starts at AAA and went 5-0. And now here he is in the big leagues. It was an impressive AAA run for Touki. 5-0 with a 1.43 ERA in those 8 starts. And then he got the call. Another curveball, another strike, 2-2. You and I had Touki Toussaint up in the booth right after he got drafted. What a great kid.
Yeah.
Just couldn't have been more impressed. Very nice. Seemed like he was a very sharp young man.
He'll be very easy to root for after today.
Yes, after today, definitely.
Yeah, it's funny how moving up through the minor league systems, I've heard scouts say that he'll be better at the next level.
And he was actually.
Yeah, every step he's made, his numbers have improved. Now, of course, the major league level, that's a different story. He's just getting started here, only his 3rd major league start. But yeah, sometimes you look at the stuff and you look at a guy's makeup and his competitive nature, and picture a better team behind him, playing better defense, picture a better offense, hitting for him, better ballparks, better umpires.
Well, come on. Just unloaded a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that time, and Nick has got the count full 3-2. They're doing that lean again. Overthrew another fastball. Trying to put him away with 2 fastballs there. Missed on both of them, and it's a 2-out walk. A chance for Alex Avila.
And of course, in a game of baseball, everybody wants to compare everybody to somebody who has gone before. We talked about Chili Davis when he first came up with the Giants. He was the next Willie Mays.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a common thing that baseball fans and baseball writers and broadcasters do. And Touki Toussaint was compared very favorably to Bob Gibson. I think it was more his physical stature out there on the mound than anything else, but it's pretty high praise to live up to for a young player.
Tuki's grown into a big kid. He's 6'3", 185. Just turned 22 back in June. Curveball. He's throwing a lot of curveballs here. Alex singled and walked twice in his start behind the plate Friday in the win over Atlanta. Braves will put the shift on against him. That one gets by Flowers, and Ahmed moves up. He tried to throw that hard sinker. He's really starting to overthrow his fastballs now. He's getting himself in trouble.
And one of the rare times in this series that Tyler Flowers did not go down to a knee behind home plate and just couldn't react quickly enough to that fastball. Just threw it right by the hitter and the catcher.
Toussaint so far 35 pitches and more balls than strikes. He has walked 2, struck out 2. Behind on Avila 2-0. Went to the changeup. That was that same pitch we saw from Kevin Gausman the other night that was effective for him. That split change. That was it again right there. Missed badly. It's 3-1. You've got the pitcher Robbie Ray on deck. "37 pitches, 20 of them balls." Seems to have a lot of faith in that curveball.
It seems like when he really needs a strike, that's his go-to pitch. He's been able to drop that right in there in the middle of the strike zone almost on demand. The fastball's been all over the place.
It's got that big loopy 12-6 action on it. Robbie Ray's a little more of a tighter sweeping curveball, a little more velocity on it. That is tapped to first for Freeman. And Toussaint strands the 2-out walk. D-backs and Braves, no score. over $50,000. Yeah, somebody won about 26 grand last night. It's our D-backs 50-50 charity raffle. It's brought to you by the Arizona Lottery, and you can play from home along with all of us at the ballpark. Tickets can be purchased online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/50-50 raffle. We've had a lot of winners from home this year. And stay tuned for the D-backs live post-game show where they reveal the winning number.
We've got a couple winners right here at the ballpark today. Chris Cannell's one of our video guys down in the truck celebrating a birthday today.
Oh, all right. Happy
birthday, Chris.
Nice job.
And he's a man after my own heart. As you know, Brandy King likes to make cupcakes or something nice for people on their birthdays. And
yeah, I saw.
He requested deviled eggs from Brandy. Oh, she makes great deviled eggs.
Well, you just totally scarfed down a whole plate of them over there. That's why you were a little quiet during that last half inning.
Yep.
Just crushed a plate of cupcakes and deviled eggs. Ender Inciarte leads off the third against Robbie Ray, who's retired all 6 he's faced. They did look good.
They were good.
They're also gone, I noticed. You know, they feed us on those planes.
They do?
Got a flight to Denver after this one. Rockies have added a run. They trailed the Dodgers 4-2. LA has the lead in the 5th inning. Inciarte, 3 hits in this series, had a triple in the ball game last night. Knocked in a run.
A couple of games rained out on the National League schedule today. The Cubs at Washington banged because of rain.
That series has been a disaster. That's been the Noah's Ark series.
Really has. They played a doubleheader yesterday that lasted about, I don't know, 11 hours.
They couldn't start till late.
And in Pittsburgh, the Marlins and the Pirates rained out today. Not quite the same sense of urgency to make that one up as the Cubs National Series, but
don't forget, Cubbies will be in here to start the next homestand. dbacks.com/tickets. Cubs in for 3. That's a Monday through a Wednesday. All 6:40 starts, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's going to be an enormous homestand. dbacks.com/tickets. 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Rockies, and 3 against the Dodgers. Our final homestand of the season. Got a bunch of letters from folks who are planning to beat a lot of those games. Fastball missed, and it's full 3-2. Well, Touki Toussaint has not been at all efficient. He's still throwing more balls than strikes. Robbie, on the other hand, has been tremendously efficient. No Braves base runners so far. Here's the 3-2 to Inciarte. Descalso at second. That'll bring up Dansby Swanson. A lot of people talking about the play he made to end that ball game last night. You just got to give him a tip of the cap and a wag of the finger. That was a tremendous play.
It really was. I mean, occasionally offensively on the bases, you try to force the defense into making a perfect play to get you, and that's basically what Dansby Swanson did, ranging far up the middle. The diving stop, a strong, accurate throw to the plate. I mean, everything was perfect on that play right there. You're hoping that maybe the throw is offline. Maybe he doesn't have a good grip on the baseball. Maybe Suzuki would drop the ball again, but Braves executed perfectly to end that ball game.
Yeah, Nick Ahmed trying to score from second. He was the tying run in the bottom of the 10th. And instead it was the game's final out on a base hit by A.J. Pollock. Swanson batting .248 with 14 home runs. And then the funny thing about that was he makes the defensive play of the game to, in effect, save the game. And he's out here early this morning working with Ron Washington, the infield coach.
We talked about that the other day. Ron Washington, a really good infield instructor, and with this young Braves infield and some of the young players they have even in the outfield, boy, they're going to learn a lot about the fundamentals of the game and the right way to do things. He had him out here working on short hop backhands, forehands, balls hit right at him. And I mean, he was standing about 5 feet away from him.
Yeah. And they put him in a little kind of like a goalie crease in hockey, and he can't leave the crease, and Wash just peppers balls at him.
He uses 3 different gloves. One that's kind of flat, doesn't really have a pocket in it. The other one is very, very small, much smaller than their game glove. And then eventually they get to put their game glove on.
Curveball missed away. It's 2-2. Touki Toussaint, the Braves pitcher, on deck. Trying to get that fastball in there, almost plunked him. Back-to-back 3-2 counts start off the third for Ravi. Well, Dodgers have just added to their lead. It's now 6-2 LA. They're in the 5th at Colorado, so that's some good news. That one's foul behind Wash at third. Let's go down to Jody.
Yeah, guys, mentioning that play last night, and I talked to Tony Perez-Chica today after he left Nick Ahmed's locker, and those two were talking like they do almost every day, and certainly talking about that play last night. He said, look, it was a calculated risk. That's what so many plays are in baseball, that he did exactly that, tipping the cap to Swanson. He said he did not expect him to make that play, given what he had to do to get to the ball. He had liked the speed from Nick there, and then, of course, guys, what was impressive is the throw home from Swanson.
Yeah, this is an impressive poke out to right center. Sends Souza back to the track. And speaking of defensive plays, how about that catch that Steven made up against the fence in deep right field last night? That was another defensive gem.
Yeah, it looked like possibly a home run, at least extra bases. He went up high on that right field wall and took a base hit away.
So here's Touki. 0 for 4 so far in his big league career. Punches it to second, and Robbie Ray has retired the first 9 Braves he's faced. No score at Chase Field. lead off the bottom of the third against Tukey Tucson. Say cheese. Oh, they always leave the flash on. You notice that? We are back in the fight for postseason. Big homestand coming up. DVax.com/postseason. Now is the time. NL West rival Dodgers will be here at Chase Field. Back in the fight for postseason play. Cubs and Rockies will be in. You can sign up online for the opportunity to get postseason tickets at DVax.com/postseason.
Tukey Tucson has faced 8 Diamondbacks hitters. He's gone 1-0 to 7 of them. Missed with that first pitch. Make it 8 out of 9.
He's thrown 40 pitches, more than half of them for balls. Robbie's been a hitter at times this year. That one went off everybody back there. 1-2. Tyler Flowers got the worst of it.
A pretty nice mid-swing adjustment there by Robbie Ray. He was geared to hit a fastball, and Tucson dropped that curveball in there and just kind of chopped at it at the last instant. Fouled it away.
Staying alive. John Jay, the leadoff man, on deck. There's that hard sinker at 96, and Tucson has his 3rd strikeout.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, the D-backs go without a base hit the first time through the order. Tucson has walked 2, punched out 3. John Jay walked to lead it off. Diamondbacks for most of the ball game last night had more errors than hits. They finished up with 5 base hits, 4 errors. There's a curveball that misses. Looking for some offense here today. I know Sun Devils are happy. How about the Herm train is 2-0, got home in time even after our long game last night to watch most of the second half of Herm's big win for the Sun Devils over Michigan State. And Jay rifles one into left center. So ASU off to a 2-0 start.
Big win early in the season.
Yeah, signature win for the program so far. Time to get on the Herm train. Eduardo Escobar lined out to right field his first time. Hit one right on the button, but right at Markakis out there. Braves put 3 defenders on the first base side against him. I did not get a chance to see how the Fighting House Cats did.
The House Cats put such a whooping on Howard in week 1 that they had a bye this week.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
So they're 1-0.
Rolling.
1-0. Let's see. That would give them a better record than Michigan.
Ooh.
I think.
I don't look at it in those kind of terms.
Well, maybe you should.
I will now.
Well, Michigan did get a win. They got a win over one of those directional schools.
Yeah, Mid-America Conference. That's, you know.
It's a tough conference. It's an upgrade. They beat Eastern, Western, Southern somebody.
One of those Michigans.
Yeah. There's a lot of Michigans. This one's trying to get down, but Swanson tracks it down. Here's Goldie.
There is a request from the truck.
Oh, they're always asking for stuff. What do they want now?
They're curious how Emerson did this week.
He had an excellent week in journalism. I can tell you that right now.
The debate team is still undefeated.
Emerson has become a basketball powerhouse in downtown Boston. You're probably not aware. Goldie takes a big cut at that hard sinker inside. Well, when you don't have any kind of representative academics, like, you know, I guess you have to pick on the smart schools, and that's what the truck is doing.
And I'm sure if Emerson had the acreage to build a state-of-the-art football stadium, they probably would have a football
there is
team.
that. We're right in the heart of downtown. Our hotel actually is a block away from Emerson College. A lot of proud Emerson alums over there. Tim Nevert, who does Red Sox radio. I went to school with Tim at Emerson College. Tim was doing Pirates games for a long time. Started to get dizzy doing those games from way up high, so he moved to Fenway. I'm sure that Eastern Michigan is famous for something, or I'm just not sure what. Nothing comes to mind. I'm sure we'll think of something eventually. Fastball is low, 3-1.
Closest thing I can come to an Eastern Michigan highlight. I've told the story before. Back in college, we used to play doubleheaders, and we play Eastern Michigan. You got the late Bob Welch in Game 1 and Bob Ochinko in Game 2. Both had great major league careers. That was always a tough weekend playing Eastern.
Well, that's when they peaked, I guess. Missed with a curveball. That's the third walk issued by Tucson. And so the D-backs have 2 on and 2 out for A.J. Pollock.
Center field, A.J. Pollock.
U of A did not go so well for U of A in Kevin Sumlin's return to Houston. So they're still trying to get that thing going.
Bear down.
A.J. grounded out his first time. Out to right, Markakis coming in. Tucson strands 2, still no score. Bat is your #1 D-backs app. You can customize your experience. Catch every moment this year. Get D-backs home screen icons, features like the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, the whole thing, if you download MLB at Bat today. Ronald Acuna Jr. will lead off the 4th against Robbie Ray, who has retired all 9 Braves he's faced. This is the way it went for Robbie in his last start. He blanked the Padres for 6 1/3, gave up just 2 hits, and he opened up that start by retiring the first 12 in the ball game. And we're on a similar path right here. There's that curveball up just a bit, but in for a strike, 1-1. Robbie has been tremendously efficient. He has struck out 3. He's not walked a batter. Well, that arm side fastball starting to sail a little bit. We've seen that a couple of times. That was the issue that started plaguing him right when he came back from the DL following that oblique injury. That fastball arm side would kind of sail up and away.
That's like a red light coming on the dash of your car. You know,
yeah.
Wait a minute, everything's been running really good. The car's been getting great mileage, and all of a sudden one of those dummy lights comes on your dashboard, and next thing you know, you're $4,000 in the hole. But for a pitcher like Robbie Ray, you know, he's dealing, just pounding away at that strike zone with everything, and then missing up arm side a couple times with that fastball. Now, ideally, Robbie and or Alex Avila can self-correct it out there, get right back into that strike zone quickly.
Bullied that one right by Acuna, and it's full 3-2. Here comes another heater. Missed away. First Braves base runner, a leadoff walk in the 4th. Brings up Johan Camargo. Camargo, like Acuna, was a strikeout victim his first time. Here's that quick Robbie Ray move over to first. Acuna can run 12 for 16 in his stolen base attempts this year. There's those infielder hands on Wash.
That's why most coaches don't even try to pick up ground balls, because he's going to hear it mercilessly from all the guys he's been working with every morning.
It just gave us a little gosh darn it right there. Back to the signs, back to work. Acuna breaks for second. Avila's throw is high, and he's in there with his 13th stolen base of the year.
Well, not only is he fast, he's had some great reads in this series when he's decided to break for second base. Got a good jump that time on Robbie Ray. Alex Avila had a high pitch to handle, which most catchers like, but there's no chance down there. Acuna really motoring into second base.
It's 0-2 on Camargo. Did you experience any left-hand pitchers who had problems when there was a runner on second base like this and the runner is behind the pitcher?
I don't recall it ever being an issue with any of the lefties we had.
I mean, it's once they take that lead and then the secondary lead, they're pretty much standing directly behind the pitcher. It's hard to see him. Descalso creeps in a bit from second to keep him close. Lays on. Nobody's home, though. I would think for a lefty that would be really distracting. I guess not.
This just depends on how much peripheral vision you have, how far you can turn your head to the left and still see out of the corner of your eye.
Fights off a fastball. Boy, the Dodgers are opening things up. It's 8-2 LA. They're still in the 6th inning at Colorado. They lead the Rockies 8-2.
The Red Menace with a homer. Kike Hernandez homered earlier in the ball game. Justin Turner just hit his 13th.
That's actually good news for the Diamondbacks. We want to cool off those Rockies right now. D-backs 2.5 games behind Colorado. Sliders in the dirt. Camargo lays off. It's 2-2 with Freddie Freeman on deck. Both the two teams ahead of the D-backs in the wild card race of 1. Showed you the Cardinals earlier. They beat the Tigers in Detroit 5-2. Brewers at Miller Park beat the Giants 6-3. Little nubber that rolls foul.
Had some excitement in that Brewers Giants game. Craig Counsell got as upset as I've ever seen him in his life. Got ejected from the ball game today.
Tom Hallion was back in the jackpot, and you know, we don't often see anymore because of replay and such. The two faces of the manager and the umpire both screaming at each other about 2 inches away, nose to nose. But that one really was a throwback. Hallion and Counsell. We'll try and show you the highlights from that one over the course of our broadcast, but those two just kept getting angry and angrier as they argued, and it boiled over. Acuna breaks for third. Here's the throw. Got him.
Boy, that's a youthful mistake, going from a flat-footed stance at second base. Nobody out in the inning, and you run into an easy out at third base. Woo. Part of the education of a young major league player. That is not the right time to try to steal third base.
And how about that throw by Avila and the running catch by Escobar to get the tag down? In the meantime, it's a full count on Camargo, 3-2. Bases empty, 1 out.
Talk about a rally killer. You got to work your way through the middle of this Braves order with a runner in scoring position and does something crazy like that.
You got a guy on second, nobody out, and your 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. Bad time to get thrown out. He did not go, says Mark Ripperger. So Robbie has walked the first 2 batters he's faced in the 4th. Brings up Freddie Freeman. Boy, he retired the first 9, 1, 2, 3 for 3 straight innings. Now the first 2 have reached. 1 caught stealing. Freeman 0 for 1. Camargo at first and 1 out. Fastball misses. Freddie Freeman is second in the National League in hits. He trails only his teammate Nick Markakis, who leads the league. Markakis is on deck. Robbie 50 pitches, 29 strikes. There's a look at the D-backs defense. Good slider, 1-1.
I think just for me personally, I think I've seen Freddie Freeman swing and miss more in this series than any 4 games I've ever seen him in his career. He's swinging right through some hittable pitches.
He has struck out 5 times in the series so far. Slider in the dirt, 2-1. And even though he's second in the league in hits, Freddie Freeman, the bat has been quiet for a while now. In his last 17 games, he's hit just 185. Does have 3 hits in this series.
For Robbie Ray, 12 pitches in the first, 8 in the second, 15 in the third. He's already thrown 17 here in the 4th inning with nobody. Well, 1 out. Got the guy at third base on the attempted steal.
Well, suddenly, just out of nowhere, is having trouble throwing strikes. Behind on Freeman, 3-1 after walking the first 2 batters he faced. Markakis behind him on deck. At the fastball. So we start the 4th with 3 consecutive 3-2 counts for Robbie Ray. Take a bow. Nicely done. There you go. Look at that face. That's what it's all about right there.
She could care less.
Where are the snacks? I saw that the guy that made the catch with the baby last night, that was all over the interweb. The WWW. One of the highlights, a great fan catch in the ball game last night.
Tremendous play.
And the infant in one hand and the baseball in the other. 3-2 on Freeman. Camargo holds it first. Double play chance here. Descalso, Ahmed, and they roll it. Well, Robbie walked the first 2 he faced in the inning, but comes away unscathed. Giants and Brewers in Milwaukee. Madison Bumgarner plunks Ryan Braun. And the bench is emptied a little bit. Everybody calmed down, Bob, until Craig Counsell was ejected by plate umpire Tom Hallion, and both guys went right into the jackpot.
Well, yeah, eventually they did. Counsell had an argument. He went back to the bench and said something over his shoulder, and that precipitated this discussion.
See, I missed this. We need this back. Phil Cuzzy has to come over, and when Phil Cuzzy is the voice of reason, it's not a great thing. And then the next batter, Jonathan Scope, you see the bases loaded there, hit a grand slam.
That's just good managing. That's all that is.
Exactly. Descalso leads off the 4th. See, don't you miss that stuff? The nose to nose.
Oh, no, I can do that on the street every day if I want to.
You can figure out a way to have that and have replay. Games would be awfully entertaining. Albies at second. Well, the D-backs having the same offensive problems that we had last night. So far, only one base hit. John Jay, a 1-out single in the 3rd. Toussaint has walked 3, struck out 3. And here's Souza, who was caught looking at a big curveball his first time up. Do you ever get in one of those where you two guys were nose to nose and right in there? And
a couple times. Does absolutely no good, but yeah, for a moment you feel pretty good.
I bet.
The fans get into it, they start cheering, and then you feel like, well, geez, if you think that's good, watch this.
I'll throw something into the stands.
Get a finger up into his face, you know. Start bobbing your head up and down, turn your hat around backwards, and the fans really get into it.
Where was it that you threw the ball into the stands?
Oh, right here.
What were the circumstances again?
Well, that's back when Barry Bonds was wreaking havoc on baseball, and umpires refused to call a strike on Barry. If he didn't swing at it, it was a ball.
Yeah.
And Tim McClellan's working the plate that game. That one's, what else, lined right at a defender.
Oh, this is the hang with him series right here.
Well, and anyway, I think we threw like 6 strikes to Barry and 1 at bat, and none of them were called strikes. He walked down to first base, and I went out to make a pitching change, and I said, just stay here. I'm just going to stay here until McClellan comes out here, then I'm going to let him have it. Well, he wouldn't come out to the mound. He stood over in the on-deck circle on the first base side talking to the ball boy or something, and so I had to yell at him from the mound. You won't even come out here and argue, will you? So he threw me out from the on-deck circle, and I had the ball in my hand, and
not for long.
Very unwisely fired it up into the upper deck, and that cost me quite a bit.
Here's Nick Ahmed. Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah. I think I made my point.
Sounds like it, yeah. Oh, this is it right here.
I feel bad. Chad Mueller's sitting there going, don't do it, don't do it.
Nice job by the boys from Eastern Michigan in the trunk.
You know, one I was really disappointed in, though.
What?
You know, you always, in the old videos, you see the manager kicking dirt on home plate.
You were going to do that?
Well, I tried to do that, but it's not like it used to be. It's not dusty and dirty where you can cover home plate. And I started to drag my foot across that clay, and nothing was moving, and no dirt is headed toward home plate.
Well, you had the whole thing choreographed.
Oh, there you go. See, look, there's no dirt. There's a little itty bit of, oh, man. Back in the day, it used to be real dusty. You could put up a cloud of dust at home plate, but not anymore.
Well, you could have pulled a Lou Piniella and just lifted it out of the dirt and thrown that. Well, you at that point you were just ad-libbing, I think.
I'd already been ejected at that point. Yeah.
What do you got to lose?
Told the guy, yeah, if you're not going to use this to call strikes, you might as well just cover it up.
And Ahmed takes a walk, brings up Alex Avila. Well, the boys in the truck have found this. Nose to nose.
Well, that was just to keep Big Shill in the game.
Oh, CB Bucknor.
Not my prouder moments, but you know, you get involved in the game and you got a passion for your team and you want to see them win. You want to see everybody succeed, and then somebody messes it up.
What are you saying? Here's Avila. Ahmed has walked twice. Toussaint has walked 4 now. There's the curveball. That was good stuff. Little trip down fine and suspension lane. There's a look at the Atlanta defense. Rockies have added a run. It's now 8-3 Dodgers. They're in the 6th inning at Colorado. We'll be there tomorrow night for the first of 4. Zach Godley against Herman Marquez tomorrow night. Up the middle. Swanson is there. Stop me if you've heard that before. And we are through 4. No score. The D-backs and the Braves. Friendly Joni Jackson with you. D-backs and Braves scoreless. Valley Toyota Dealers presents Let's Go Places. We're off to Colorado and Houston in what is really the final road trip of the year. We do finish up at San Diego. That's just a quick 3-game weekend set, but 4 at Coors Field and 3 against the first place Astros. That's a tough trip. It all starts tomorrow night. And then we're in Houston for the weekend. Robbie Ray so far has not given up a base hit. He's walked 2 and he struck out 3. Nick Markakis leads off the Atlanta 5th. Markakis lined out to left his first time up. There's a fastball for a strike. Good sign for Robbie right there. Markakis has had 15 plate appearances in this series. And he's reached base safely 10 times. 7 hits and 3 bases on balls. He's been on base all week. Fastball misses in 1-1. Robbie walked the first 2 he faced in the 4th. Acuna, the leadoff man, was thrown out trying to steal third after he stole second. And then Robbie got a double play ball against Freddie Freeman to end the threat. There's a fly ball to left for Jay. Brings up Tyler Flowers. Robbie was saying after his win last week that, now we talked about this too, the last 2 starts about as mechanically sound as he's felt all year, especially last week against San Diego. And he came away from that feeling great. Feels effortless, he said. Every pitch had a purpose. And even when he got taken out of the game in the 7th inning last week, physically he was still strong, still throwing the ball hard, less effort. And all those things a terrific sign. So hopefully that bit of wildness in the 4th inning was just a blip on the radar screen. But there's a fastball that sails away. 1-0 on Flowers, who struck out his first time.
Well, it's such a difference, as you know, partner, when you watch a ball game every day and you watch the same team day after day after day, you can tell when guys are feeling better about themselves and maybe when they feel like, I'm not quite at my best. It really shows, and Robbie Ray has made it very visible that he feels great about his mechanics and his attack out there on the mound.
60 pitches, 35 strikes. That backdoor curveball to right-hand batters has been very effective so far today.
There it is.
That was one more, doubled up with that pitch and jumps ahead 1-2. Arenado just homered for the Rockies. It's now 8-5 Dodgers. They're having another typical Coors Field game. They're in the 6th inning. Got the fastball and fouled it off. Robbie, in beating the Padres last week, averaged 95 miles an hour with his fastball on average. That was the highest velocity he's had all year. And the fastball in the last 2 starts, the wins over the Dodgers and the Padres. The velocity has spiked. The curveball has been getting a lot of swings and misses. Wouldn't bite on the slider, says Mark Ripperger. 2-2. Down the line in right and leaking into the seats out of play. Robbie Ray in his last 3 starts has given up a total of just 2 runs. And he's worked 4 scoreless so far here today. He's got Ozzie Albies on deck. We Got a slider way up high and fouled it behind the screen. Fastball upstairs, and Flowers has worked at full 3-2. So Robbie has gone to a full count now on 4 of the last 5 batters he's faced.
And this next delivery to Tyler Flowers will be number 9 in this at bat.
And he wins the battle, goes back to that curveball.
Yeah, you might want to get a snack. This is a lengthy at bat here. Fastball up out of the zone, then a curveball to the back door, follows it up with another curveball to the back door. Then Flowers went to work, fouled one off, took a slider down and in, fouls off a curveball. Hard slider up, he fouled that one away, missed up high with the fastball, and then gets him to chase a bad breaking ball that was never in the strike zone. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Jumps up Ozzie Albies with that fastball in there. Albies grounded out to end the 2nd inning his first time up. So he is in there right now at 2 for 15 in the series. His bat has slowed a bit in the second half following an all-star first half of the season.
I've been trying to put my finger on who Ozzie Albies reminds me of. Former Cubs center fielder Corey Patterson. There's a little bit of a similarity in the facial features. I looked up his picture on Baseball Reference. Not as much as I initially thought, but sometimes just guys remind you of somebody else.
Sure. Well, another fastball sailed on Robbie that time. That's starting to happen a little bit too often. He's behind 2-0. Well, when he's wanted it, especially to these right-hand batters, that curveball has been there. 70 pitches, 41 strikes. And Corey Patterson was a sort of a graceful outfield type. Ozzie Albies is that diminutive, sort of scrappy second base type guy. Ender Inciarte would be next. 2-2 on Albies. Wouldn't bite on that curveball. Another full count, 3-2. Robbie has gone to 3 balls and 2 strikes on 7 of the last 9 batters. He loses Albies. That's his 3rd walk. He's walked 3 of the last 6. Brings up Inciarte.
Yeah, talking about ball players that look like somebody else or remind you of somebody else, and we looked at this earlier this week. Brady Feigl, F-E-I-G-L. There are 2 of them. They're not related.
Oh, yeah.
And they look exactly alike.
I saw that. That was scary.
Yeah, down to the point they both have big red beards. They both wear the goggle glasses underneath their hats. Man, that is freaky. Same name, not related.
Yeah, they could be twins. Starts them out with a curveball. Ender grounded out his first time up. Inciarte has not done much with lefties this year. He's about .230 against left-handers. Oh, 2.
The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Right there with a fastball. 5 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. He has not given up a base hit. Still no score.
No score. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Brandon Webb doing Brandon Webb things. He one-hit the Cardinals in the shortest game ever recorded here at Chase Field, 1 hour and 54 minutes. We're still about 20-25 minutes away from that mark, but we're in the bottom of the 5th.
Robbie Ray leads off the bottom of the 5th against Touki Toussaint. Yeah, we could use that. That was a good Geico call today. Been a long series. Well, what do you think of young Touki Toussaint so far?
Well, I mean, for a young pitcher, you have to be impressed with that curveball and have that much confidence in that pitch to be able to throw it when he's behind in the count, throw it for strikes, bounce it in the dirt. He definitely has a #1 secondary pitch, if you will. I think fastball command is going to determine how good he can be. Has that 4-seamer to go along with the 2-seamer. The splitter is an effective pitch for him against left-handed hitters, but I think it's all going to work off that fastball command.
Spins Robbie around with an 0-2 fastball. It's funny, he has said all the way up through the Braves minor league system, that's what they have preached over and over and over, fastball command.
I think that's pretty universal for every pitcher. If you can command that fastball, work it up, down, in, out, hit corners, hit the bottom of the strike zone, that gives you a leg up on everything else. You can get by with less than good secondary pitches if you can command a fastball.
Well, he's walked 4, struck out 4. 3rd time through the order now. Here's John Jay, who has walked and singled. He's got the only base hit in the ball game for either side. Starting to go to that sinker a little more often. Gets a strike with it right there. Braves skipper Brian Snitker's seen a little bit of Touki Toussaint now, just his third big league start, but they asked him, tell us about him. He said, you know what, he hasn't liked him, he's loved him. Called him a very impressive young player, carries himself really well, nice assortment of pitches. Arsenal is really good, very athletic out there. So they're happy so far.
And that's something that we wouldn't be able to tell looking in from the outside, but certainly as manager and his pitching coach, if a kid is coachable, willing to learn from other veterans on his own pitching staff, that's just going to hasten the process.
Lays off that Toussaint curveball, and it's 2-2. Escobar on deck. Rounds to first for Freeman. Well, Touki Toussaint's spot in the batting order comes up second in the top of the 6th inning. In his 2 big league starts so far, he's thrown 83 and 64 pitches. He's about to throw number 80 right here. There's no one warming up at the Atlanta bullpen. Another curveball. Shift is on against Escobar. Only 1 hit for the Diamondbacks. No hits for the Braves. D-backs have left 5. The only base hit, a single by John Jay in the 3rd. Toussaint has walked 4. Missed with a fastball, and it's 3-1. Goldie on deck. Well, they really need Eduardo Escobar's bat to be as productive as it was when he first arrived from Minnesota. He's 1 for 15 in this series. Fastball's a strike, full count, 3-2. In his last 18 games, he's hit 190 with 3 RBIs.
We talked about it the other day. He's had very little rest since coming to the Diamondbacks. His 2nd game as a member of the Diamondbacks. Torrey gave him the day off because of all the craziness that had happened the day before just to get him on the team.
He chases a low fastball. We are through 5. Only 1 base hit so far. 0-0. So many to choose from. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. We hit the road. 4 at Colorado against the Rockies and 3 at Houston against the first place Astros. Then a long homestand, a biggie, Cubs, Rockies, Dodgers in here. Then we finish up with 3 at San Diego on the final weekend of the season. After tonight, only 19 games left to play.
A couple of off days dropped in there. I'm sure everybody's going to need to catch their breath on the 20th after that big road trip.
Dansby Swanson leads off the Atlanta 6th. Robbie Ray's yet to give up a base hit. Swanson flying out to center his first time.
Well, how about this one, partner? This is the 80th time, 80th time this season a Diamondback starter has gone 5 or more innings and given up 2 runs or fewer. That's tied for second in the majors with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dodgers. Houston #1 on that list with 83 such games.
Well, this team, is Mike Hazen and Torey Lovullo always insist, is built around pitching and defense, and it will be moving forward. That's the blueprint. And the starters this year have done a tremendous job. A couple of all-stars, Greinke and Corbin. Zach Godley's made tremendous strides this year. Clay Buchholz has been sensational. All after losing Taijuan Walker and really not getting Shelby Miller back like they planned. There's another fastball that sailed up 2-2. $80 pitches for Robbie, 47 strikes. He has struggled with his command the last 2 innings. The pitcher Tucson on deck. Braves have done a decent job laying off that low slider with 2 strikes. That's where he gets a lot of his swings and misses, and they're taking that pitch far more often than not. And it's another full count, 3-2. Robbie Ray has gone to a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes on 8 of the last 11 batters he's faced. That's a lot of pitches. There's a look from Mosscam. Everybody loves Mosscam. We constantly get complimented on Mosscam. Hey, I love that Mosscam shot. And he strikes out. Swanson, that's number 6 for Robbie.
And Dansby Swanson still susceptible to that breaking ball. Robbie starts him with a big curveball right there to jump ahead. Comes back with another one on top of the zone. Misses up high with a fastball there, but eventually he's going to get back to that slider. That's his out pitch. That's what he wants Swanson to swing at and miss. And right there just could not check on 82 down below the bottom of the zone. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Touki Toussaint, the pitcher, grounded out his first time. That one is a base hit. So the first Braves base hit is a bullet by the pitcher Touki Toussaint, who gets his first hit in the big leagues. That one was a rifle shot by Escobar at third.
And we said Toussaint's a good athlete. He hit the ball hard his first time up to second base. This time just past Escobar on into left field for the first base hit of the game for the Braves.
So 1 out base runner for Ronald Acuna Jr., who has struck out and walked. This is hit deep to right field. Souza's at the wall, and it's gone. Ronald Acuna Jr., his 25th, and it's 2-0 Atlanta. Well, Robbie had gone 5 1/3 without giving up a base hit And suddenly, bang, bang, they're down 2-zip.
It's down over the heart of the plate. Acuna just gets barrel on it that time. A little bit tardy with the swing, but got the barrel on it. And just did sneak it out of here down that right field line.
For Ronald Acuna Jr., that is his 18th home run since the All-Star break. Opposite field power. Here's Johan Camargo, who's homered twice in this series. Curveball misses. It's a big game for the Diamondbacks. They're all big at this point, but the Rockies are still losing at home against the Dodgers. LA has an 8-5 lead in the 7th inning. Diamondbacks 2.5 games behind the Rockies for the NL West lead before we head to Colorado tomorrow for the first of 4. This is one they need. That's Sky behind shortstop. Ahmed drifting out there, calls off Jay. 2 outs. Freddie Freeman 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice, once into a double play to end the 4th. And the D-backs once again will put that overshift on against Freeman. Well, this guy has tortured the Diamondbacks over the years, Freddie Freeman. He's done almost nothing in this series, but he came into today a career .365 batter at Chase Field. He's played 25 games here and hit 8 home runs, but he's been very quiet here. Curveball misses, 2-0. Freeman 3 hits and a walk in the series. He's struck out 5 times. It's the call on the fastball from Marty Foster, 2-1.
Given his track record, you know that Freddie Freeman's going to blow up on somebody. Let's just hope he waits until tomorrow.
Braves are off to San Francisco to play the Giants after this one. Missed away with that fastball, and now it's 3-1. Markakis on deck. Robbie has walked 3. He struck out 6. That's his 4th base on balls. Markakis 0 for 2. He's twice flying out to left field.
It looks like Mike Fetter's headed to the bullpen phone down in the left field corner as Mike Butcher comes out of the dugout. Stall for a little bit of time here.
Yeah, Robbie sitting at 94 pitches, 54 for strikes. He had a no-hitter going through 5, struck out Swanson to open up this 6th inning. But then Toussaint blistered a base hit. Acuna followed with a home run, and just like that, this has turned into a 2-0 Braves lead. Robbie just trying to get through 6. There's no one warming up in the Braves bullpen. Toussaint, as we just said, did hit for himself. D-backs have the 3, 4, and 5 batters due up in the home half here. Goldie, Pollock, Descalso. Bounced a curveball up there. Freeman not going anywhere. Nick Markakis leading the National League in hits and in doubles. He's had quite a resurgent season here at the age of 34. He'll be a free agent this winter. Interesting to see what kind of offers he gets. He's already over 2,200 hits for his career. And you can make an argument this is the best season he's ever had at the age of 34. Longtime Baltimore Oriole.
He's been a solid player for a long time, but has taken it to a whole new level this year offensively.
Yeah, he's in the final season. He got a 4-year, $44 million deal before the 2015 season. And it's really worked out well. And he's another native Georgian. The Braves seem to collect those guys. He's from Woodstock, Georgia. He was a first-round pick out of that baseball powerhouse, Young Harris College.
Young Harris. Yeah, you're right about the Braves. For years, they were noted as one of the best teams in Major League Baseball at getting guys from their own backyard, all around the state of Georgia, the southeastern part of the United States.
Yeah, they seem to collect him. The guy on deck is another one, Tyler Flowers. He's from Roswell, Georgia. Freeman takes off for second. Descalso makes a tremendous diving stop and recovers nicely. That ends the 6th, but the Braves on the Acuna home run get 2.
Is tightened in the West, and the Diamondbacks we know have struggled a little bit of late. I was talking to Daniel Descalso in the clubhouse earlier today. I said, do you feel like the team's playing tight? He said, I don't think that we are. He said, we've made mistakes. Mistakes do happen, but baseball is a game of people that have to be ready to make mistakes and learn from them. And guys, we've seen some nice defensive plays today. Offensively now, I think obviously being down by 2, it's time for this team to rally.
Yeah, you said it, Joni. Only 1 base hit so far. A John Jay single in the 3rd. Goldie has struck out and walked. He leads off the 6th against Touki Toussaint. There's some stirring in the Braves bullpen. No one warming up as of yet. Get that fastball in there, that sinker. Yohan Lopez getting ready to make his major league debut. He was warming up a couple of different times in this series. Had a tremendous year at AA Jackson. Hard throwing Cuban right-hander. Goldie ahead, 2 balls and a strike. Broken bat roller to shortstop. Swanson collects that one. One away. Well, this is another impressive start for Touki Toussaint. The command has been erratic at times, but you look up on the scoreboard. 5 scoreless innings, only 1 hit allowed. AJ 0 for 2.
He has walked 4 Diamondbacks hitters. None have been able to come around and score, obviously.
He's got 5 strikeouts. Still throwing hard, mid-90s with that fastball. Yanked that one a bit, that sinker. 90 pitches, only 48 strikes. Shift is on against Pollock. AJ's walked 4 times in the series himself. He's got a couple of hits. He's knocked in 2 runs. That bat starting to come around. Boy, Toussaint is pretty much just throwing all sinkers up there at this point. He seems to have abandoned that 4-seamer, relying on that 2-seam sinking fastball. Another one right there, and it rolls through away from the shift. A 1-out single for AJ, and just a 2nd hit in the ball game for the Diamondbacks.
Receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casino.
That's an interesting exercise, Bob. You've got a guy making his 3rd major league start. You've got a veteran catcher back there. He shook off Tyler Flowers twice, wanted to throw another sinker, and AJ just hit it away from the shift for a base hit. That's, if you're the catcher, how thrilled are you with Touki right there?
Well, I'm sure that's something that will be addressed after the inning, or for sure after the ball game when they're going over the reports on this game today. And you know, the pitcher ultimately is the guy that has to throw the pitch. So you want him to be convicted and make sure that's exactly what he wants to throw. He believes that's the right pitch to throw. Many times you'll see a catcher hang down a sign for, let's say, a curveball, and the pitcher will shake it off, and he'll put the curveball down again. He'll shake it off again. You just keep putting it down until eventually the pitcher steps off. And if you can't get him to change his mind, sometimes you'll even see the catcher go out to the mound, not as often as they used to, just to talk about it. What are you thinking here? Why do you want to throw that pitch so badly?
But does the fact that he's only 22 and in his 3rd big league start change that dynamic at all?
You would think so. And I would expect Touki Toussaint, by all accounts, a very intelligent young man. Defer to the veteran catcher. When in doubt, defer to the catcher.
And he's got a chart back there. It's laminated and everything, and it's on that arm for a reason. He's shaking off again right here. No, they can't get together. Now they do have to go out there and talk. Touki keeps shaking him off.
At this point of the ball game, he's thrown 95 pitches. Maybe one pitch feels a little bit different than it did earlier in the ball game. Maybe he's lost confidence in the pitch that Tyler Flowers is calling for. Maybe physically he's just getting a little gassed out there and doesn't want to have to reach back and get a little extra on a fastball.
I'm sure that's a red flag for Brian Snitker. Touki, I'm sure, would like to get through this 6th inning. He has not been especially efficient, but he's been very effective. 1 on, 1 out ahead of Descalso 0-2. AJ over there at first. Back to that curveball. Boy, Daniels had some big hits in this series. The RBI double last night that tied the game in the 8th inning. And a 2-run single Friday in the win over Atlanta. He's hit safely in 5 of 6 games this month. A couple of curveballs away, both really non-competitive pitches, and now it's even 2-2.
Stealing signs from out there in the playground.
That's why they're so paranoid right there. What's he going to throw? Yeah, here's the sign. Okay. That one goes through Flowers. Another fastball. And AJ moves up. And it's a full count, 3-2. You can see right here, it just looks like he's gassed. He's shaking off. He's getting a little wild again. Long pauses between pitches. It looks like that needle is just about on E right now. And sure enough, they get the bullpen busy once again for the Braves. Luke Jackson, the right-hander.
That last pitch to the backstop was ruled a pass ball on Tyler Flowers behind the plate, number 6 on the season.
There it is, 3-2. Well, he can't throw that curveball anywhere close for a strike, and it cost him in that at bat. Descalso walks after he was down 0-2. Here comes Souza. 5 walks for Tucson. Souza has struck out and lined out 0-2. Pitch number 100 on the way. Steven does not have a base hit in this series, but he has walked 5 times. This is Badley with another curveball. He's lost that pitch here. 100 pitches, only 52 for strikes. There he drops a curveball in. Souza's only 1 for 16 in September, but his on-base percentage this month is .435. So he's been very selective up there. There's that split change. Haven't seen that pitch for a while. 1-2. Curveball fouled away. Touki Toussaint in his first big league start through 83 pitches. Last week against the Red Sox, 64. Right now he's about to get to 104. 1-2 to Souza.
Toussaint hasn't gone over the 100 pitch mark since he was pitching in the minor leagues back on July 25th, the last time he went over 100 pitches.
Well, Brian Snitker has looked up on the board and seen a Phillies loss, so I'm sure the Mets beat him 6-4. So it's a big game for the Braves. Souza hits a double play ball. They'll settle for 1. Albies gets the sure out at first. Hit a little too slowly to turn 2.
And I think Dansby Swanson must have been shaded over in the hole between third and short. It took him a long time to get to the bag that time, and Albies just decided to take the sure out at first.
And Brian Snitker is going to make the move. That's it for Tukey Tucson. Here's a look.
Yeah, look where Swanson starts from. He's on a dead sprint to get to the bag right there, and Albies just thought that might be a little too close at second. Let's just get a sure out.
We take a break. D-backs trail it 2-0. Nothing in the 6th inning. Cardinals OT is back on Fox Sports Arizona. All the highlights and breakdown from today's Cardinals and Redskins game. Don't miss Cardinals OT today after the D-backs post-game show, and again tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Arizona. New pitcher for Atlanta. 3rd time we've seen Luke Jackson in this series. He faces Nick Ahmed. With A.J. Pollock at 3rd, Daniel Descalso at 2nd, and 2 outs. A single right here can tie the ball game. Nick has been up twice, walked twice so far. And he's had some big hits lately. 6 hits in his last 4 games, including 2 doubles and a triple. Had a big base hit in the 10th inning last night, but wound up getting thrown out at home to win the ball game. Chased a slider down, and it's 0-2. Braves 2 runs on 2 hits. They've left 2. D-backs no runs on 2 hits. They've left 5. Tukey Tucson issued 5 walks. The 5th is down there at 2nd. Descalso, the tying run. Boy, he spiked a slider big time. Flowers able to keep it close. That one only made it about halfway home.
Well, the thing about Flowers we've talked about is 1 knee down stance that he uses most of the time. He's halfway down to blocking position, starting out with 1 knee on the ground already. He really did a nice job on that last pitch.
So the bullpen is busy. Alex Avila on deck. Pitcher spot behind him. Nick Ahmed looking for a 2-out 2-strike knock. And is. AJ's home. The throw for Descalso is offline. We're tied at 2. Nick Ahmed has done it again.
Well, after chasing a couple of breaking balls earlier in the count, he gets a belt-high fastball right down the middle. I'm really surprised the Braves didn't go back to another breaking pitch, but Nick Ahmed takes advantage, bangs it into center field. Strong throw home by Inciarte, but offline, allowing 2 runs to score.
How about that? A 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run single that tied it up. And Avila is the hitter. Robbie Ray off the hook. Alex has grounded out twice. David Peralta is in the on-deck circle, set to hit for Robbie Ray. Curveball, swing and a miss, 0-1. Those guys all go to the same barber.
I noticed that about Souza. We were talking about players that look like other players. Souza right now looks a little bit like Wooly Willie. Do you remember Wooly Willie?
No.
The toy?
You had toys in Coshocton?
Of course.
I thought you just beat each other up all the time for fun.
Well, that too, but
no, I don't. What was?
It was a little piece of cardboard with a plastic covering on it, and it had a man's face painted on it, and the plastic was filled with metal shavings.
Oh yeah, and you had the magnet.
The little magnet, and you would
yeah.
drag it around and put a beard on him, or a mustache, or eyebrows. And Steven Souza Jr. reminds me a little of Wooly Willie.
Yeah, we had that. We had that in Operation, where you'd stick the tweezers in there and try and pull out the bone. And Souza's giving it to Marty Foster back there. Two and one on Alex Avila with Peralta on deck. I can't believe you remember the name of that thing.
I had to look it up. I thought it was called Mr. Whiskers for some reason. But
no, that's a cat, I think.
Yeah. Wooly Willie.
Good call. So you don't get this stuff from other broadcasts?
No, not at all.
Why would you want it? 2-1 hitters count. This is Badley with a fastball. Jackson stumbled there, and now he's behind 3-1. You'd love to see David Peralta get a shot here, set to hit for the pitcher Robbie Ray.
Long periods of offensive inactivity lead to conversations about Wooly Willie.
This is what happens. Now the curveball. Can't really swing at that. He just caught the edge of the outer half of the zone, and now it's full 3-2.
You know, that's one of those tip your cap pitches. There's not really anything you can do with that as a hitter other than maybe hit a weak ground ball to the opposite side. So you take it, hope the umpire doesn't call it a strike, and if he does, then you go right back to work again.
Well, Nick will get a head start from first as Freeman plays behind the runner. Here's the 3-2 to Avila. There goes Ahmed, and that curveball missed, and here comes Peralta. 2 runs already in, 2 on and 2 out.
Boy, that takes some guts to take that second curveball. That one was a little farther off the outside corner, the final one, ball 4. But after the called strike on the pitch before, that really takes some guts on the part of Alex Avila to take that pitch.
Okay, now Peralta has been announced as the pinch hitter for Robbie Ray. 296 and 26 home runs. There is no one warming up in the Braves bullpen, so this is Jackson's ball game at this point. David has 5 hits in the series. He's also walked twice. They want to get this one right. Oh, it was 5 minutes of almost nothing, but both offenses have perked up here in the 6th.
I know the Atlanta Braves bullpen is a little gassed right now. We talked about that 3-game series with Boston leading up to this 4-game series here in Arizona, and he's had to dip into that bullpen an awful lot. But he's got 5 lefties down there.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't really make much sense.
They know that the Phillies, who are right on their heels in the NL East, have already lost, so this is a chance for Atlanta to pick up another game. So here's Peralta. Went back to that same pitch, that curveball away to the lefty. 1-0. Get through. There it is. Here comes Ahmed. Diamondbacks grab the lead.
Curveball. This one catches quite a bit of the strike zone, and David just smothers it on that left side of the infield. You can see the big hole as this ball just dribbles through into left field. Nick will come around to score easily. Diamondbacks take a 1-run lead.
Well, now you've got another left-hand batter coming up, and the leadoff man, John Jay. Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, is out to talk to Jackson. A 3-run Diamondbacks 6th. After the Braves put up a 2-spot in the top half. Now Robbie Ray, who was down 2-0, is in line for the win. They're going to stick with Jackson here, and Jay will hit. 2 on, 2 out, 3 runs in. Jay, for a long time, had the Diamondbacks only hit. Now Sam Freeman, the lefty, starts to get loose. We saw Sabathia in the ball game last night, the right-hander. Jay has walked, singled, and grounded out. 1 for 2. There was that curveball again.
Well, getting the lefty up now is a little bit like closing the barn door after the horses ran away.
Yep. Avila's at second. Peralta's at first. Jackson, every time he throws that fastball, he lands awkwardly. He's overthrowing, it looks like, from here. One and one. That was it again right there. Same thing. He's missing badly with it. And John Jay can work a count with anybody. He's not going to chase some bad pitches up there. 2-1. Tried to check that time. Slider well off the plate. Escobar is on deck. John Jay, the 8th man to bat in the Diamondbacks 6th. Hit it again with a slider. Now it's full. This will get him started. Avila from second, Peralta from first. Freeman is well back behind the runner at first base with a left-hand batter up there. Jackson has yet to record an out. Single, walk, single. Now it's full on Jay. You have to go through the signs again. Here go the runners. Slider is fouled back. Avila can be a bit of a base clogger down there at second. You've got 3 other catchers on the roster if you wanted to run for him down there, try and get him home from second on a single. One more time on 3 and 2. Runners on the move. This is punched down the line and just missed it. It's foul. Oh boy. John wants to make sure. Joe West, the crew chief down there. Never that demonstrative anyway. Just kind of gave it the quick wrist. Well, this one just missed. That would have been nice.
Oh, yeah.
Get fired up. Here we go. All right.
I'm going to keep doing this till Dad tells me to stop.
We got the Energizer Bunny in the house with us. Rock on.
Yeah, get it.
Oh, he's tired. Another 3-2. Base hit. Avila will score and the freight train will stop at third. It's 4-2. Four straight have reached, all with 2 outs.
Nice grinding at bat once again. Gets a curveball down and in. That's that pitch Jackson's been dropping on the outside corner effectively, but that one caught a lot of the zone, and John Jay makes him pay.
And that's it for Jackson, who came on with a 2-0 lead and did not retire a batter. 4-2 D-backs. Back after this. Runs are home and still going. Hey, the NL West rival Dodgers will be back here for the final home series of the year, at least in the regular season, from September 24th through the 26th. Get your D-backs Dodgers tickets now as the D-backs look to beat LA. Visit dbacks.com. We want the Dodgers to win. Oddly enough, today they are leading the Rockies 8-6 at Colorado. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, homeboy's blowing up on the internet. Check it. We made him famous. Chad Sabatka, the right-hander, just brought up from AAA yesterday, faces Eduardo Escobar. We saw Sabatka briefly in the ballgame last night. Only threw 5 pitches. Got Peralta at third, Jay at first, and 2 outs, 4 runs in. In the air to left, Acuña's out there. Might be an infielder at Swanson who runs it down. The Diamondbacks send 9 men to the plate in the 6th. 4 score. They lead at 4-2. Score 4 runs, all with 2 outs to take the lead. September 16th coming up, the season's final episode of the Local 9. Tom Walsh chats with Randy Johnson, Bob Brenly, John Jay, and John Ryan Murphy to find out their favorite things to do and places to go outside the ballpark. It's D-backs the Local 9, presented by CenturyLink, Sunday, September 16th after the D-backs game on Fox Sports Arizona. Brad Ziegler is on to start the 7th inning. Tyler Flowers leads it off for Atlanta. Well, the D-backs finally got the big inning they've been looking for, it seems like, for quite a while now. A team that's lost 10 of its last 15. Most of the problem, a lack of offense. That was great to see. There's the sinker. It's 0-1. Flowers has already struck out twice. They've gone to the 9th inning in Denver. Dodgers hanging on to an 8-6 lead over the Rockies. D-backs with a win and a Rockies loss will be back within a game and a half of Colorado's division lead as we head to Denver tomorrow night for the first of 4. Skipper checking that scoreboard. It wouldn't be normal if you didn't. Did you do that back in the day? Look up at that board every now and again.
Oh, yeah.
What are they doing? What's the score over there?
Especially when I was managing, you can't avoid it. From where Torey Lovello sits, when you look out to the mound, that's right in the background. You can't help but see that out of town scoreboard.
Sinker down, 2-2. Albies on deck, then it's Inciarte. Got him. 1 down in the 7th.
Second baseman, Ozzie Albies.
That's that sweeping flat slider from Brad Ziegler after that sinker's pounded in on your ankles a couple of times. You become vulnerable to that pitch breaking the other way.
Brad last worked in the D-backs 5-3 win on Friday here. Here's Ozzie Albies, who was grounded out and walked. Diamondbacks have the shift on the first base side. Albies the switch hitter. That one got Alex back there, 0-2.
They usually do. Alex Avila takes a beating back there almost every game. Ouch.
He pokes it the other way. And that one lands fair. Jay will chase it down. And Albies has a one-out double.
Pretty good maturity for a young hitter to wait on that changeup. Sinking down and away from the left-handed hitting Albies and just kind of flips it down that left field line. I mean, that's a pitch that Brad Ziegler doesn't throw very often, and usually he gets the desired result, a swing and a miss on that changeup, because he just doesn't throw many of them. He catches left-handed hitters by surprise, but that time Albies went right down the line with it.
Yeah, he's been a very good hitter this year in terms of extra bases. Inciarte looks at ball one. He's 0 for 2.
I'll tell you, regardless of the outcome of this ball game, I've been very impressed with these young Braves players. Camargo at third, Albies at second base. You got Acuna out there in left field. All three very advanced hitters.
He got some good ones, no doubt about that. Camargo's look good. Albies, Acuna. We saw Touki Toussaint here from the mound today. Dansby Swanson made the game-saving play last night.
You think back to that Dodger series for the Diamondbacks, and Torey Lovullo admittedly made some decisions that kind of backfired, didn't work out the way the Diamondbacks were hoping they would work out. I think that when this series is over, Brian Snitker's going to say the same thing.
Ziegler's got it. They got Albies hung up. Inciarte sneaks into second. Boy, Brad snagged that one and right away turned around, and they knew they had Albies in trouble. And it's Inciarte who will leave.
Well, the runner who was on the base is entitled to the base when you end up with two guys standing out there at second. And Eduardo Escobar did exactly the right thing. Run them all the way back, because a lot of players don't know what the rule is.
Yeah.
Run back to the bag, get two guys on the base at the same time, tag them both, and then wait and see if somebody steps off the base. And if it's the wrong guy, you might end up getting a couple outs on the play.
Dansby Swanson 0 for 2. Albies still at second, 2 outs now. Lucas Duda is in the on-deck circle, set to hit for the pitcher. Boy, that frisbee breaking ball just kind of hangs there for a while. It's got to be tantalizing. Brad trying to get us to the 7th inning stretch and strand that runner at second. Swanson 3 hits in this series, had a triple in last night's game. That's a strike. 0-2. Ahmed at shortstop. Brad Ziegler strands that one-out double. D-backs lead at 4-2.
Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing, cool plays of the game. Anytime the Diamondbacks are able to link some at bats, build an inning, and put some guys on the plate, it is a cool play. David Peralta, a little opposite field grounder, drives home a run right there. John Jay with a real good grinding at bat, ends up getting a base hit into right center field. Boy, it's been a while since we've seen the Diamondbacks have multiple hits and multiple runs in the same inning.
Send 9 men to the plate in that 6th inning. All the runs scoring with 2 outs. And it's made it 4-2 Diamondbacks as we start the home half of the 7th. And Goldie, who led off that inning, will lead off this one. Paul Goldschmidt, A.J. Pollock, Daniel Descalso do up 3, 4, and 5 in the Diamondback 7th. Dodgers have added a run in Colorado. It's now 9-6 LA. They're in the 9th inning. So the D-backs with a chance to get back to within a game and a half of the Rockies before we go there tomorrow. Goldie has struck out, walked, grounded out 0 for 2 so far. Chad Sabatka, who got the final out of that 6th inning, on to start the 7th. And the breaking ball is a strike, 1-1. That's hammered foul. He got a fastball right down the middle, just a little late with that one. And it's 0-2. No, he didn't. Mark Ripperger down there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. AJ on deck. He singled and scored in the 6th. Boy, Sabatka's got a big time fastball. I just can't locate it right now. It's full 3-2. Goldie hitting better than .330 since the All-Star break. 3-2 pitch. All 4. Good start to the 7th.
D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
There's AJ. That one bounces back to the screen. A slider in the dirt.
There's that one knee setup. There's not a lot of lateral movement. Once you drop down to that knee, it's really hard to move too far either to your right or your left. And that time Flowers couldn't get in front. Goes all the way to the backstop.
Got that slider in there. 1-1. Chase that high heater, 97, 1-2. We've talked a lot lately with the offense struggling about the need to add some tack-on runs over the course of the ball game. You've got one sitting down there at second with nobody out. Got to get him home. Line to right. Markakis is there. Goldie tags. It was on that same play with David Peralta at second base last night. David didn't tag up on a very similar hit ball. Turned out to be a key moment in the ball game. And I think he's pointing that out right there.
Yeah, I think it was pointed out to David after the ball game yesterday. I mean, that's one thing about the Diamondbacks. They may make occasional mistakes out there on the field, sometimes physical mistakes, sometimes mental mistakes, but they're always addressed immediately.
Yeah, that one was, from what we understand. Infield will come in. And they'll give, looks like Descalso will get the intentional walk. And they'll work to the right-hander Souza. So runners on the corners and one out for Steven, who's 0 for 3.
Right fielder, Steven Souza Jr.
Now the infield puts the shift on against Souza. Well, now Albies is headed over to the first base side of second. So no shift here. They're looking for the double play ball.
I know what Gracie would be saying in that third base dugout right now.
What's that?
Don't let them do it to you. It's hard not to take it personally when they walk the guy ahead of you, even if it's the right strategic move to make over the course of a ball game. But the fact remains the Braves would rather pitch to Steven Souza in this situation than Daniel Descalso. Don't let them do it to you.
Well, Sabathia spotted that fastball down and away to jump ahead 0-1. Fastball up, 0-2. Jake Diekman warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. You got the pitcher spot due to lead off the 8th for Atlanta. Then it's Acuna and Camargo.
I'm not sure if it's something you could see from the batter's box or not, but if you watch Sabathia, when he takes the ball out of his glove, he kind of shows it underneath his glove before he goes into his delivery. And occasionally, depending on the grip you have on the baseball, it's very easy for a hitter to look out there and discern, okay, that's a breaking ball, that's a fastball. Watch his hand dip out of the bottom of his glove.
Yeah. Shows it to you, and this is up again, 2-2.
Just gives you a little bit of a look, and sometimes that's all it takes. Maybe you see a seam between the index finger and the thumb if he's throwing a fastball, for example, and you see no seam if he's throwing a breaking pitch. I have to believe that's something that would have been corrected if it's easy for a hitter to see. Sometimes it's easy for us to see from our center field camera, but not so much from the batter's box.
Well, he strikes out Souza with a fastball in. That's the second out in the 7th. Well, it was Nick Ahmed that really got the scoring going in the 6th inning. A 2-strike, 2-out, 2-run single that tied the ball game. And here's Nick now, 2 on and 2 down. He's got Goldie at third, Descalso at first, 2 outs.
Boy, that single that Nick had back in the 6th inning to drive home too, that was a weird at bat for the Braves. They got him to chase a couple breaking balls to start the sequence and looked bad doing it, and then just force fed him a fastball up in the zone, and he smoked it into center field.
Starts him off with a slider right there. Gone to the bottom of the ninth at Coors. Dodgers lead the Rockies 9-6. Kenta Maeda has come on to close that one out for LA. D-backs looking for a, believe it or not, a Dodgers win. That helps us bring those Rockies a little bit closer. Deep fly to center, and Ciarte near the warning track. We'll head to the eighth. It's still 4-2. Even this series, salvage a split. Lead at 4-2. The Rockies are back here in just 2 weeks. A 3-game weekend set. That could mean the season, September 21 through the 23rd. Get your seats now as the D-backs are back in the fight for postseason. Tickets at dbacks.com. Preston Tucker is in the on-deck circle. Brad Ziegler goes back out to the mound. And now Troy Lavello checks in with the plate umpire Marty Foster. Ketel Marte is in. We'll sort it out in just a moment. Tonight's ball game gave up a home run to Kurt Suzuki. Is on again today, his 63rd appearance of the year, acquired from the Texas Rangers. at the trade deadline. Preston Tucker had been the on-deck hitter. Now it's Charlie Culberson. Ketel Marte replaces Descalso at second base. He will bat ninth. Pitcher spot now fifth for the Diamondbacks. So instead of Tucker, it's the right-hand batting Culberson at 277 and 10 home runs to face the lefty Diekman. We saw the same dynamic in the ball game in the seventh inning last night. Tucker was scratched and Culberson hit. He struck out against T.J. McFarland. Culberson 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter in the series. These days coming off the bench, he is just 4 for 30 at the plate since the middle of last month. Bounce to third, backhanded by Escobar. What a play! Boy, he made that look easy.
Boy, he has really solidified that third base position defensively. He was an offensive force initially when he came over to the Diamondbacks, but that glove has been there for him every day.
Sure has. That's a long throw. You ever get a chance to stand behind the third base bag and look out toward first? That's when you see how far that throw really is. Ronald Acuna Jr. Shift is on against Acuna, who homered off Robbie Ray for the 2 Atlanta runs. That was in the 6th inning. His 25th of the year. 18 of those home runs have come since the All-Star break. Here's the defense against him. Touki Toussaint got the first Atlanta hit, a 1-out single in the 6th, and then Acuna did that, the next batter.
Acuna is now tied with Eddie Matthews and Orlando Cepeda for the 5th most home runs before turning 21 years old. This is his 25th bomb of the season.
He's only 20. He'll be 21 in December. He is going to be some kind of player, boy. Wow. Arizona Fall League MVP just last year. He was playing here in the Valley in the Fall League. We talked to Fall League Director Steve Cobb about that the other day. Going to be another great season of Fall League baseball all over the Valley starting in October. Boy, Diekman just slides that fastball in from that funky arm angle at 97 right at the knees. Hold on there. That's a strike, says Marty Foster. Full count, 3-2. Camargo on deck. And Diekman loses him. That brings the tying run to the plate in Camargo, who's already homered twice in this series. Second walk for Acuna today. He's been on base 3 times.
Hey, partner, before this double play here to get the Diamondbacks out of the inning, we want to extend a goodbye to Meg Buchan, who's been one of our font coordinators here with Fox Sports Arizona for a long time, one of the best in the business. She's moving back home to Michigan, so finally there's something good about Michigan.
Yeah, what is it with Michigan? We get 2 Michigan guys in. One guy goes back to Michigan, the big sweat, Brian Henry.
Yep.
And now Meg is going to Michigan.
Keep pulling me back in.
Just when they thought they were out.
Well, we're going to miss you, Meg. Good luck.
Thank you, Meg. Yeah, we are already down 1 Michigan man. We lost the big sweat. Brian Henry now producing Tigers baseball. I guess he needs help. When you need help, you call Meg.
That's right.
So that just makes sense. Jerry Nair, the bench coach, on the right there. He's a great sounding board for Torey Lovullo. Those two have become very close. Their wives are close. They hang out together all the time. That's really worked out well for Torey and Jerry. 0-2. Well, you'll never hear me maybe ever say this again. Good news, the Dodgers have won. Yeah, I know it sounds strange. Frankly, I don't feel comfortable either, but it's a 9-6 final in Colorado, so the Rockies have lost. If the Diamondbacks can hang on here, they'll only be 1.5 games behind the Rockies before we start that 4-game series tomorrow night at Coors Field.
Paraphrase the old saying, politics and playoff baseball makes for strange bedfellows.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Escobar one more time. All the way across. As Acuna moves up to get Camargo, and it'll be Freddie Freeman against the lefty Diekman. Avila out to the mound to talk it over. Freeman has twice grounded out. He walked against Robbie Ray his last time up. This is a big at bat in the ball game right here. Freeman represents the tying run.
And some history between these two. Freddie Freeman 5 for 17 lifetime with a double. That's a .294 average. However, he has struck out 6 times against Jake Diekman.
Diamondbacks overload the first base side against Freeman. Marte is well back on the grass at second. Fastball is low. Freeman, a .317 hitter this year against lefties. He's got 10 home runs against left-hand pitchers. 21 on the year overall. Bullpen for the moment is quiet for the Diamondbacks. There's no one throwing down there. No, we didn't, says Joe West. 2-0. Got another tough lefty behind Freeman and Markakis on deck. He's 0 for 3. Jake needs to make a pitch here, down 2 balls and no strikes. That's a bullet into center. Acuna will score, and it's a 1-run ball game.
Missed down low and away with that first fastball. Got about a half swing on that slider away, and then another fastball out over the plate, and Freddie Freeman does what he usually does, lines it into center field for an RBI base hit. Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
So Diekman got Culberson, the pinch hitter, walked Acuna. Freeman singles him home. And now he'll face Markakis. Mike Fetters, the bullpen coach, on the phone down there. Markakis leading the National League in hits. Freeman will run every once in a while. Remember, they had him hung up in the ball game last night, and he got away with it when they didn't execute that rundown. Jimmy Sherfy, the right-hander, starts to get loose. Good slider, kind of buckled Markakis that time. 0-1. Braves bullpen busy. 2 left-handers. Freeman's been throwing for a while down there. Minter, who got the save of the ball game last night, is the other left-hander. Avila is due to lead off the bottom of the 8th. There's a little tapper, backhanded by Diekman, and that ends the inning, but the Braves get 1 back. It's a 4-3 D-backs lead.
down the Diamondbacks' 6th inning, and you have a couple of extra nuggets that you will show us about that inning, right?
Some behind-the-scenes things happened that led to that big 4-run outburst.
But it's not going to matter if you can't hold on. So hang in there, okay?
We knew this game was going to be like this.
Just land the plane, okay? Just land the plane. I'll be there, right there for you.
I'm going to need a co-pilot.
Oh, man. Steve and Bob, take it away. We'll see you after the show of the game on Diamondbacks Live.
Wait a minute. I have some questions. Are Gracie and Todd flying us to Colorado?
I'm driving, if that's the case.
Yes, I'm with you. The lefty Sam Freeman, who worked in the first 2 games of this series, is out to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Christian Walker has come off the bench, and he will pinch hit for Alex Avila to get the right-hand bat in there against the lefty Freeman. Walker, 226 and 2 homers. So it's Walker, Marte, and Jay due up 8, 9, and 1 here in the Diamondbacks 8th. And one misses. Brad Boxberger has started warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen.
Flowers and Freeman are having all kinds of issues getting on the same page. The Braves have been using multiple signs even with nobody on base. That time Flowers went through a set of signs and Freeman had a look on his face like I don't even know what that means. So they went through the signs a second time and he still crossed him up.
All right, I got it. That's with nobody on base. Remember, Walker came up in the 9th inning of the opener here Thursday and just mashed a ball off the facing of the home run porch in left center. Looked like it was hit about 200 miles an hour. Wanted to check at that last minute. Fastball away, 1-1. Christian 5 for 22 as a pinch hitter this year. He's homered twice, both times off lefty Clayton Kershaw. Out a splitter, 1-2. Chased a heater away, and Freeman gets the strikeout.
It's kind of been the kryptonite for Christian Walker, that high fastball. He's such a good fastball hitter, but most opposing pitchers try to elevate it up there above the top of the zone. He has trouble laying off.
Ketel Marte double switched into the ball game, taking over at second for Daniel Descalso, his first at bat today. 251, 10 home runs, only 1 hit in the series for Ketel. But you want him in there as a right-hand batter. He's hitting .317 this year, batting right-handed. Starts him off with a curveball. Marte hit 9 home runs in the first half of the year, but he's hitting the ball on the ground a lot more often. He's homered only once since the All-Star break. But his batting average is up by about 40 points compared to the first half of this year. Well, he can't resist that high fastball either. 0-2. That sunlight creeping through the glass windows here. 4:15 in the afternoon local time. Mound's all lit up in sunlight. Have not checked with the governor Greg Schulte on a Denver forecast.
The weather has looked beautiful from what I've seen of the Rockies highlights.
Well, the governor is definitely the professional. I took a peek this morning. It's supposed to be in the 90s in the daytime, get down in the 60s at night.
When does the tornado start every day?
It just depends.
Batting practice?
Whenever you're outside without an umbrella.
It's true. That's going to be quite a series. Zach Godley, Zach Greinke, Patrick Corbin, and Clay Buchholz start in that 4-game series. We'll have the first 3 for you on Fox Sports Arizona.
Boy, maybe a trip to Coors Field is what the D-backs offense needs to really get things jump started.
There is that perspective. You might be right about that. Dodgers beat the Rockies today 9-6 in another wild Coors Field game. Boy, he really spiked that split finger pitch up there. Now it's a full count, 3-2. John Jay, the on deck hitter. Atlanta will have in the 9th inning 5, 6, and 7 due up. Flowers, Albies, and Inciarte. Brad Boxberger is ready in the bullpen. (3-2) to Ketel Marte. Chased a high one, popped it up behind the screen. Here's a good look at that hairdo.
Or hair don't.
Nice. I guess that makes him a platinum blonde.
Yeah. Blondes have more fun.
Three and two. Oh, he laid off. He wanted to offer it that fastball. Good check right there. And a 1-out base runner for Jay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the 9th walk issued by Braves pitchers today. Jay led off the ball game with a walk. He's also singled twice and knocked in a run. Dave McKay coaching at first. I want to thank all of you who've been writing us letters. We got a whole bunch of good ones. Lisa and Brian Weaver watch us all the time from Las Vegas. They're big Zach Greinke fans. They love Nick Ahmed too. They'd also like some tacos.
Wouldn't we all?
Put in a request for you. There's the 0-1 to Jay. Well, that high fastball too tempting for some of these D-backs hitters. It's 0-2. Gillian Fenner wrote us. He's a 15-year-old D-back fan who lives in Southern Oregon. He says everybody's a Mariners fan, but he loves the Diamondbacks, especially Goldie and David Peralta.
Attaboy. Fight the wave.
Nice work. Marte takes off. Flowers can't corral that one, and Ketel's in at second. Got a curveball. Good pitch to run on right there.
I like it. You know, I like that aggressive base running partner, especially when your offense is sputtering and misfiring. I think you put more pressure on the defense, maybe open up some holes in the defense.
Well, this is their third look at Sam Freeman in this series, so no surprises with the move. And Marte gets a big jump. He heads for third, and they got him. And on the strike him out, throw him out. That'll end the inning.
Well, Torrey wants to check.
Well, you could tell, looked like he got a pretty good head start right there behind Freeman.
Yeah, got the walking lead and just kept going.
Flowers delivered a terrific throw. Camargo has the tag and plenty of time. They're still checking. No challenge. We'll head to the ninth. It's 4-3 D-backs. Get a split of this 4-game set, pull within a game and a half for the Rockies, who lost to the Dodgers 9-6 today. And it's a new battery to start the ninth. Jeff Mathis takes over behind the plate after they pinch hit for Alex Avila. And on to close it down is Brad Boxberger, who got his 32nd save of the year, and the D-backs win on Friday. Boxberger will face schedule due up anyway. Tyler Flowers, Ozzie Albies, and Ender Inciarte, 5, 6, and 7 in the Atlanta ninth. Flowers has been up 3 times and struck out 3 times. .229 on the year. Fastball misses away, 1-1. Brad faced just 2 batters in that 9th inning on Friday to get the save. Got Acuna and Camargo, but Flowers starts off this one with a base hit. And that's the tying run.
I have to believe we're going to see a pinch runner for Flowers down there at first base.
There he comes. That's Lane Adams, who will run for Flowers, representing the tying run.
Running at first base, number 18, Lane Adams. At the plate, second baseman, Ozzie Albies.
Ozzie Albies, who has walked and doubled today, will be the hitter. Switch hitter batting from the left-hand side. D-backs will overload the left side. Escobar comes in on the grass. Overload the right side, pardon me. Escobar in on the grass at third. They'll keep an eye on Adams down there. Eric Young Sr. coaching at first.
Those young fans sitting right next to the Braves on deck circle. You see the batting gloves right there. Ozzie Albies traded those batting gloves for a bracelet with that young man. Tried to put the bracelet on, but couldn't get it collapsed, so he just stuck it in his back pocket.
This with a changeup.
And you got to keep an eye on Adams down there at first base. He had 330 stolen base seasons at the minor league level. Perfect 10 for 10 last year for the Braves.
Holds it first, and that's a ball up the middle that goes off the glove of Ahmed and rolls into left center. Pair of singles against Boxberger start the ninth.
But just judging by the way Nick played that ball, it must have been knuckling off the bat, not flying a true flight. Otherwise, I think Nick would have had it.
Ender Inciarte 0 for 3. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first, nobody out. Bullpen is quiet for the Diamondbacks. Long look down to Ron Washington coaching at third.
Ender has 3 sacrifice bunts this season. Only Dansby Swanson has more among the Braves position players. Swanson with 5 sack bunts.
Swanson on deck. Pitcher spot behind him. Corners crash. Inciarte pulls back and it's 2-0. Goldie in from first. Squares to bunt and chops it foul. Took a strike just off the plate. Marty Foster says 2-2. Swanson on deck. Went to just about the same spot. It's full. See Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, tucked in right behind the runner Adams at second. 3-2 to Ender Inciarte. Is hit in the air deep to right field. And gone.
Trying to give himself up, putting down a sacrifice bunt. Inciarte runs the count to full and gets a meatball. Fastball, inner third of the plate, down a little bit. He knew it right away.
Here comes Mike Butcher. There'll be action in the Diamondback bullpen. Boxberger has yet to retire a batter. 2 singles and a home run. It's turned in suddenly to a 3-run Atlanta ninth, knowing that the Rockies had already lost to the Dodgers 9-6. Last night it was Dansby Swanson made that tremendous play up the middle to end the ball game, and here today it's been the former D-back Ender Inciarte, a 3-run home run. Yohan Lopez, the rookie right-hander, is ready in the bullpen. Swanson is the hitter. Lucas Duda is in the on-deck circle, set to bat for the pitcher. This is hit high in the air to deep left center. AJ's got it 1 down. Here's Duda, who has been up 3 times as a pinch hitter and struck out 3 times. And Torey Lovullo is going to bring in the Cuban signee Yohan Lopez to make his major league debut, as Boxberger exits trailing 6-4. Down a bunt. It's a 3-run home run. Boxberger gets Swanson to fly out. He exits, and here is the major league debut for Yohan Lopez, the Cuban signee, who had a troubling start to his professional career in the D-backs organization, but has had a brilliant season at AA Jackson. 87 strikeouts in less than 62 innings. Lucas Duda is the first batter he'll face in the big leagues. He's got a good live fastball, Lopez. Duda, 3 at-bats as a pinch hitter in the series, 3 strikeouts. Just 1 for 10 in 10 games with Atlanta, just acquired from the Royals recently. And this one is belted and way out of here. Seven to 4 Atlanta.
Crazy things we've seen in this series, that might be the biggest surprise. Lucas Duda had not come close to a thrown ball in this series and absolutely mashes that fastball deep out of here to right field.
Well, he's always had the big time power. 30 home run season with the Mets. Acuna, who homered in the 6th off Robbie Ray. And for a D-back ball club that had lost 10 of 15 coming into today, lost a gut-wrenching game last night, saw Rocky's loss up on the board. This is especially painful. This is driven deep to left center field. That'll reach the wall. Acuna heading for third, and he's got a triple. Two singles, 2 home runs, and a triple in the Atlanta ninth.
Make it stop. Boy, just another center cut fastball. I don't care what league you're in. You throw 4-seam fastballs down the middle of the plate, they're going to get hit. Acuna, he's been all over this field in this series. What a dynamic player.
And he's only 20. Here's Camargo. Diamondbacks in the bottom of the ninth will have Escobar, Goldie, and Pollock due up 2, 3, and 4. Infield is in. And that ball is launched. Camargo's third home run in the series. 9-4. Out of nowhere, a 6-run Atlanta ninth.
Another ball that's absolutely crushed. That's a slider that just didn't break, stayed right in the middle of the strike zone for Camargo. Man.
Phase 3 batters gave up 2 home runs and a triple. And Jimmy Sherfy is on to try and finish off the top of the ninth inning. Atlanta has put up 6 to take a 9-4 lead. Freddie Freeman will be the hitter. that's foul at first for EY Senior. Freeman, the 8th man to bat in the Braves' 9th. Markakis on deck. Two and two. That picture just about says it all. Right field, Souza. They'll play it on a hop. Freeman's got a base hit, his 2nd hit tonight. And the 9th man to bat in the Braves' 9th is Nick Markakis.
For those bullpen blowups. I don't know if there's a loss that hurts worse than when you have a lead in a ball game and your bullpen, the guys that you've counted on all year to come in and get those final outs in the ball game, just can't get the job done. Those really sting.
We've had a few over the last week and a half.
I mean, you're so close, you can almost taste it. You can almost feel the high fives. You got a lead in the game, you got your closer on the mound, everything's seemingly going in the right direction, and then the wheels just fall off the trailer.
Well, it's not about consolation prizes, but at least the Rockies have lost, so unless you can come back, you'll stay 2.5 back with 19 to play. But this, unless something changes, will be the Diamondbacks' 11th loss in their last 16 games.
Yeah, if you're the team, if you're the lead dog in the division and you do the same thing as the teams chasing you, that's a good thing. That's just an X on the calendar. Another day gone, you still have your lead. But when you're the team chasing, those X's on the calendar start to mount up way too quickly.
Only 19 more X's to go after this. Adams, who ran for Flowers to lead off this inning after Flowers singled, is the on-deck hitter. Atlanta now with 9 runs on 11 hits. D-backs 4 runs, 5 hits.
It's not hard to figure out why Markakis has had the year he's had this season. He is so calm in that left-handed batter's box, very slow with his approach with the feet, very quick with his hands.
Well, he's worked it full against Sherfy, 3-2. That's how you get more than 2,200 hits in the big leagues. That's what Nick Markakis has. He bounced away. Escobar scoops for the force on Freeman, and that's all they'll get.
Yeah, not really hit hard enough to turn 2. Eduardo Escobar just shovels onto Ketel Marte. You can see Freddie Freeman was right on top of Marte that time. No chance to complete the relay throw onto first.
So Atlanta bats around in the ninth. They've scored 6. Adams came on to run for Flowers after Flowers singled against Brad Boxberger to lead off the inning. Adams, a .222 hitter with 1 home run. Sure if he gets that breaking ball in there first round. Adams only 22 plate appearances in 18 games with Atlanta this year. Nearly all of that back in April. Jimmy jumps ahead 0-2. Brad Brock in the Atlanta bullpen. We've seen him in this series before. Adams bounces one up the middle. Ahmed, nice pass to Marte to get the force. Atlanta sends 10 men to the plate in the ninth. They score 6. It's 9-4 Braves. The lead in the ninth, one of 3 ninth-inning home runs for Atlanta against the Diamondback bullpen. And they trail at 9-4 as we start the bottom of the ninth inning. Eduardo Escobar will lead it off against the new pitcher for Atlanta, the right-hander Brad Brock, who we've seen earlier in this series. They worked an inning in the ball game last night and worked the final inning of the opener on Thursday. Got the save, his 12th of the year. Kurt Suzuki takes over behind the plate after they pinch ran for Tyler Flowers. There's strike 1 to Escobar, who is 0 for 4. Suzuki bats 9th. Pitcher spot is 5th in the Atlanta order.
Get some traffic on base and see what happens. This Braves bullpen hasn't been exactly locked down in this series or over the past couple of weeks. We've talked about it throughout this series. They're running on fumes down there. He's used them so much.
And most of the guys who have pitched in the game today making at least their second, if not their third appearance in the series. That's the case for Brock. Goldie on deck, then it's A.J. Pollock. Tapper to short. Swanson backhands. And Escobar's aboard. Good start. Infield single for Eduardo Escobar. Brian Snitker taking a look.
Nice effort by Dansby Swanson, throwing back across his body, awkward angle. Nice pick at the other end by Freddie Freeman, very close down there at first.
They are going to challenge the safe call at first. So Joe West, the crew chief, running as best he can over from third. Here's a look. Well, that would be the coup de grace right there. This gets overturned. Well, we're on an airplane after this one. First of 4 at Colorado against the Rockies. 5:40 Arizona start. He is out at first. D-back live pregame show tomorrow is at 5 o'clock. Out call. So they get that overturned. 6-3 on the putout. And Goldie is the hitter. He's walked twice, 0 for 2. Zach Godley and Airmount Marquez, the scheduled pitchers tomorrow. First of 4 against the Rockies at Coors. D-back line pregame show at 5. Gracie and Todd standing by to put a period on this one. Get Gracie's thoughts. D-back live post-game show follows our ball game. You'll see Torey Lovullo's post-game news conference. There's the new Papa. Our congratulations to the Godley family. Little baby girl born the other day. Markakis in right, won't get there. Extra bases for Goldie. It's in the corner. He'll head for third.
Gets a two-seamer out over the plate and down. He had to go dig that one out. Finds fair ground down in that right field corner. Markakis slipped on the warning track. Goldie ends up at third base with 1 out.
Chance for AJ, who singled and scored in the 6th. Diamondbacks trailed it 2-0 in the 6th inning. Came back with a big 2-out rally. They scored 4, all with 2 outs. In the air, right field. Goldie will come on in. No throw for Markakis and make it 9-5. The RBI for Pollock. Pitcher spot is up, and Ildemaro Vargas will hit for Jimmy Sherfy. Vargas came up in the ball game last night as a pinch hitter with the bases loaded and hit an absolute missile to second base, right to Ozzie Albies. It was a big time hang with him, and just sort of the way things went last night. Foul tip, and Suzuki hangs on. 1-2. Ball game. A 6-run Atlanta ninth turns into a 9-5 Atlanta win. They take 3 of 4. The Braves win their first series here at Chase Field since 2012. And the D-backs have now lost 11 of their last 16 games. They stay 2.5 games behind Colorado in the NL West. The Rockies beaten at home by the Dodgers earlier today.
Yeah, some brief signs of life in that 6th inning for the Diamondbacks offense, but quickly disappeared when the bullpen was unable to bring home that 1-run lead.
Diamondbacks live post-game show set to get underway. Gracie standing by with Tom.
Steve, thank you very much. And Mark, I'll just say this, and I understand there are 162 games.
Yes.
And no games count more than the other. But this has the look and feel of two teams heading, at least today, in opposite directions. The Braves came storming back, found a way to win, took advantage of the fact that Philadelphia lost again to the Mets today. The Diamondbacks, you saw what just happened after Colorado loses, or excuse me, after what happens up in Denver. So that's kind of the feel and the sense I get right now for today.
Yeah, and I agree. That's a very young, talented, confident Atlanta Braves team right now. And the Diamondback bullpen gave them every reason to be confident because they just could not hold the short relievers just could not hold the Braves down the entire series.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about that. So we'll take a short break. Our coverage continues here on Fox Sports Arizona as it always does after the game is complete, and that's called Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show. Bob Brenly will hang with us for just a moment before he gets on that charter to Denver. Jody Jackson is here. She'll be inside the clubhouse, and we'll hear from manager Torey Lovello what he has to say about we all witnessed a difficult afternoon for the Diamondbacks. The game was set up for them, and it simply didn't happen. Post-game show starts. We'll return right after these messages.